Rural development is the process of improving the quality of life and economic well-being of people living in rural areas that are relatively isolated and sparsely populated areas. Often, rural regions have experienced poverty greater than urban or suburban economic regions due to lack of access to economic activities and lack of investments in key infrastructure such as education. Rural development has traditionally centered on the exploitation of land-intensive natural resources such as agriculture and forestry. However, changes in global production networks and increased urbanization have changed the character of rural areas. Increasingly, rural tourism, niche manufacturers, and recreation have replaced resource extraction and agriculture as dominant economic drivers, even though it is not enough. The need for rural communities to approach development from a wider perspective has created more focus on a broad range of development goals rather than merely creating incentive for agricultural or resource-based businesses. Just like other districts in Malawi, Ntchisi has suffered from weak economic growth since the country's independence in 1964. Over 50% of the population live below the poverty line, unable to produce enough or to otherwise obtain sufficient income to meet all of their basic needs.
Challenges are always there. We also have people that go off track, just like Judas in the Bible. There are people that when we tell them to have a farm, they become reluctant.
In the past 4 years, Malawi Human Rights Resource Center, MHRRC, has conducted community mobilization, engagement, and community scorecard in a number of communities as an approach to promote understanding of rights and responsibilities among duty bearers and right holders in development processes. Despite its huge untapped potential to contribute to process and outcome of development, the government departments are yet to adopt community mobilization and engagement as a core duty to enhance community participation. Enhancing citizens' participation in local governance and development process projects is the answer to these fusing challenges.
Our resource center has been working with initially with the Ntchisi, then Cheshire. We started similar initiatives in Chitipa and Doha. Later on, we are on a move to Doha, and then they added Ntchisi with a similar agenda. So when we joined this initiative, which is now under the joint program of NCA, DCA, the whole idea was really focusing on empowering citizens to demand accountability from duty bearers.
With support from Norwegian Church Aid NCA and Danish Church Aid DCA Malawi Joint Program, Malawi Human Rights Resource Center, MHRRC, is implementing a 3-year project on enhancing citizen voice and action in local governance and development processes, whose main goal is to contribute towards fighting inequality through enhanced pro-poor budget allocation and expenditure in the sectors of health, education, and social protection. The project also aims at enhancing meaningful engagement of right holders and duty bearers in social service delivery and accountability for development resources in the targeted districts of Ntchisi, Doha, and Nsanje.
With our discussion with NCADC, ideally we were focusing on 3 sectors: education, health, and agriculture, because these are directly connected to the issues that we are talking about here in terms of inequalities. But later on, we realized that there are all these issues that are cross-cutting: the issue of gender, the issue of environment, water, but also the services from the Malawi police became an issue that we needed to look at. And we could not have ignored that these issues are happening across board.
The project goes further than looking at the extent to which resources reach frontline providers. It also supports the service users to undertake facility surveys of how the frontline service providers themselves function in order to establish the relationship between resources allocated and the outcome. This is Ntchisi. The district has a population density of about 128 people per square kilometer. The province is all between 1,300 and 1,700 meters above sea level. There are 4 National Assembly constituencies in Ntchisi district, and these are Ntchisi North, Ntchisi East, Ntchisi South, and Ntchisi Central constituencies. The project in this district is being implemented in the areas of traditional authorities Chiloko and Msauga. One of a million questions remains, has the project provided the lacking points? For instance, in Malomo.
Development works here in Ntchisi North are really sailing. This is due to the coming in of Human Rights Resource Center. Their project instilled mindset change in many chiefs here. For example, this headquarters is one of the testimonies that this project has produced, with technical support from Human Rights Resource Center, with financial support from NCA-DCA.
The area had stayed for decades without developmental infrastructures. It was one of the districts that used to register grass-thatched houses. Apart from that indication of poverty, businesses were drastically invadable.
When they came, our mindset changed. Now we are moving with guidance of the adage that says it is good to start by yourself in order to hook support. Nowadays, things have really changed, as chiefs are on the forefront of development works. If you may ask me that how is this possible, I would say we have been contributing money and building huge developments that if we were to wait for government money, things wouldn't have been the same. For example, here at Malomo, we have a minibus. Every chief contributed 10,000 for us to purchase it.
This building was built using the people's personal finances, but they did manage.
We managed to build an RDC office. So this is one of the headquarters that have ADCs in Malawi. These are places where development projects are discussed. MPs will be having their offices here, ADC, chair, and councillors.
In the area, MHRRC also introduced service charters.
These are guidelines that government placed in all the professions you can see here. This was developed to ensure that these service seekers are aware of their rights and how the service providers should work for their good. For instance, those who oversee the protection of children, how do they work and at what time are they supposed to start working? Those who work in the hospital, what are they supposed to do? Even police officers, what are they mandated to do and how? So, service charter is just like a guideline in each and every government department. And this goes also to the villagers who are service seekers. If somewhere the service providers haven't done what the laws tell them to do, they have a right to go and complain to the council. For instance, if they say hospitals are supposed to be open by 7:30 and at 12 o'clock they are supposed to break for lunch, or they come back at 1 o'clock.
The service charters were developed by the center with expertise from the district council. Its aim is to monitor if the public departments of institutions such as police, district hospitals, and others are working according to what the law says.
For instance, here at Malomo, we have inadequate health workers. So if those workers knock off at 2 a.m. and the next day the hospital opens late, it's not their fault. So for the people to understand those kind of situations, they are supposed to have meetings with the workers and at the council, which this service charter encourages.
Ntchisi District Hospital has it at the entrance. If any officer has not done accordingly, he or she is summoned to a round table by council officials.
Each and every department has a committee. When something occurs contrary to what the service charter says, the people do not just go straight to the workers and present their grievances. This is discouraged because it might cause chaos, because sometimes the service providers have their side of the story too. Instead, the communities are supposed to go and consult the committee and tell it what has not gone down well with them. After this, the committee will go and talk to them.
The ADC chair, who is a part of the council committee, said this has reduced chaotic delivery of services in the district.
This has really helped us in providing guidance. These guiding tools are the ones that have helped us to formulate various groups and committees. For instance, CAG, the Hospital Committee, and the Education Committee. Previously, we had no idea the importance of these committees, but now we know very well their importance and contribution.
This is Mtarira Primary School in the area. It consists of 1,629 students against a population of 20 teachers. They rely on only 4 classroom blocks, which turned fragile years ago. When it rains, they leak, forcing the teachers to send the students back home. The whole rainy season goes like that.
The cry of Ntawila Primary School.
What?
The cry of Ntawila Primary School.
Playing for what?
A change which will put this district on the map.
Fine. But is there any success story? Yes, Annie. Can you start the ball rolling?
Our school performance is continually rising.
Is there any impact from this?
Yes. Many learners from far distances are flocking to our school.
Hey, are you crazy? Why are you crying amidst this good news?
William Fuller, what they are told them. The good performance, the high enrollment of learners, and small number of teachers. Not only that, but also having a small number of blocks with tattered tiles. Yes, you are right. The lanes are coming again. How shall we learn with the coming lanes?
The situation affects classes and performance.
Most of the learners, when they see the condition are very poor, they sometimes absent themselves from school. As a result, this may lower the standards of learning here. Even teachers, sometimes they cannot work comfortably. As a result, they know because they have already settled the local area.
When sensitization from MHRRC was brought in the area, ADCs, the district council, and the school committee sat to explore long-lasting solutions.
For this block to be built, it was because of an interface meeting we had with duty bearers, and we asked the government to construct another block that will cater for all the students we have here. So they agreed to construct a block for us and also asked us to only contribute bricks.
This is one of the fruits that the meeting has produced instantly. The block will have 2 buildings at its end. Similarly, Mpalo Primary School, which is situated in the area of Traditional Authority Msauka, faces unwarranted learning situations.
The major challenge that we are facing here, that is the leaking of our school blocks, which have got the tiles, and these classes have got a very big hose, which gives problem during the rainy season.
Students are likely to fail with the learning environment. Luntha Television has established that during the previous rainy season, a class fell and injured a Standard 4 learner, and that ignited an interface meeting with the district's authorities. The meeting was held under Citizen Participation in Local Governance and Development Processes project, which MHRRC is implementing in Ntchisi and other districts with funding from Norwegian Church Aid NTA, Dan Church Aid DCA Joint Country Program. Following the meeting, Ntchisi North Constituency Legislator Arnold Kadzanja provided iron sheets that were used to fix a single block. This is how it looks now. The district council, whose role in the project is to oversee the project and facilitate the discussions, is amazed.
As a council, because the service delivery of all development work goes through the district council. So as a council, we have players, we have sectors which are implementing various activities to the communities. So as a council, we are offering a lot of services and to the communities. And the communities also, with the coming in of the charters, they have understood their roles, their responsibilities, and how they can put across the grievances which they have towards the council, with the goal of improving service delivery and ensuring that development is happening in the district.
MHRRC says it plans to conduct a lot of activities under the funding from NCA-DCA Joint Country Program.
When we initially introduced the project, especially in Ntchisi, because DOA had started with a few more sectors. So basically what we've done since we started the initiative is to ensure that we are able to introduce one interesting bit or component of the project is the service charters. We realize that without service charters, it would be difficult for them to track service, the service provision. So this was one component of us introducing to the district law for Ntchisi. When we had worked in Ntchisi before, sometimes back, we had introduced the service charters maybe 10 years before we went back. So when we were getting back with this project, it was more of saying what has happened between that time and this time. We realized that many things were forgotten and that we just had to start from somewhere. So that we've done, getting back and introducing the service charters again, and we feel that there has been progress because the few sectors that have picked on the service charters, they have done quite well.
Relatively, in Doha and in Sanjay, there have been innovations in approaching issues for reporting and advocacy on resource governance, and in this regard, the project continues to draw and document lessons from the case stories to suggest new ways of promoting citizen participation, accountability, and service delivery. In so doing, the project remains key in contributing lessons on how best to improve public expenditure systems in district councils. Specifically, the project focuses on promoting quality of information flow and how it is used by different stakeholders.